All right, well, good morning and welcome back to another edition of Backcountry Trails. I know it's been a while since I put out a video, and I've got a lot of reasons for that. I'm right in the middle, toward the end actually, of my training to become a wilderness patrol volunteer for the San Bernardino National Forest. It requires 5 training hikes with seasoned wilderness rangers, and I've completed all of them but one. I got one left. We're in along the Willow Creek Trail right now, and we're working our way down the skunk cabbage meadows. We're coming up on a song. I'm going to do some off-trail stuff and take a break, take a lunch break up here. The weather's perfect up here. It's absolutely gorgeous. Never been to this side of San Jacinto. I guess that's why we're here, huh? And I feel pretty confident that I'm ready to go. I got a lot of backpacking, a lot of hiking experience. I've got a lot of time up in the San Jacinto Wilderness and the San Bernardino National Forest. And I'm familiar with pretty much the whole entire range, so I think I'm actually the perfect person to be up there as a liaison between the National Forest and hikers and backpackers that are exploring the range up there. And on top of that, I'm also doing High Point Lookout on top Palomar Range for the Cleveland National Forest. And I am getting there, slowly but surely. I have one more gate I got to unlock. Cleveland Lookout 110 in service at High Point, Forest Net Tone 5. And I've done 5 or 6 full shifts, 12-hour shifts as a fire lookout. So between the 60, 70 miles I've hiked in the San Bernardino National Forest up in Idlewild and the 5 shifts I worked up at High Point, I haven't had a moment's rest for the most part. And then in the middle of all that, we've also did our backpack trip up to Big Pine Lakes. We did about 20-30 miles up through the Indio National Forest and the John Muir Wilderness. And that's what this episode is going to start. It's going to start our adventure up to the Big Pine Lakes Basin. It's a chain of 7 lakes. It goes by the Lon Chaney Cabin and goes up to the edge of the Palisade Glacier and an amazing viewpoint at Temple Crag. Which is over these really weird, strange, almost like a turquoise blue water, which is actually glacier water from the Palisade Glacier. So anyway, that'll all be coming up in the next couple of episodes. But this episode is going to be part 1 of our adventure. We're going to take a drive up along Highway 395. We're going to get set up at the Big Pine Lake Campground. Big Pine Campground. And we have a great spot of all the campsites. There's about 35 campsites up there, and there's one in particular that I've been looking forward to for 10 years. And I finally was lucky enough to be able to snag that one on a recreation.gov permit, and I got reservations for this one particular campsite. And when you see it, you'll understand why I was so excited about it. On the second day, we have a whole day to kill. It was a 2-day minimum, so we couldn't just go the night before and hike the next day. So we had to have 2 days at this campsite, which it wasn't a big deal. So what we did was we took a drive back down to Big Pine and went across the way toward the White Mountains. And the White Mountains is, believe it or not, it's 14,000 feet at the top of White Mountain. It's one of the 14ers. And on the way up there, you'll go through the Ancient Bristlecone Forest that has some of the most amazing trees, ancient bristlecone pines you've ever seen. And they date anywhere between 4 and 10,000 years old, including the Methuselah tree, which is one of the oldest known trees that's been dated on Earth. So we get a chance to go up there, we go to the visitor center, we cruise around there, have a little day hike up there, and then come back. So that's what this episode's going to be about, our trip up to the Big Pine Lakes Basin, and day 1 and day 2 of our adventure up to the Ancient Bristlecone Forest. And there's also one more thing I wanted to talk about real quick. While we were at the trailhead car camping, acclimating, we went to the day use parking lot and we saw a vehicle there that was just covered in pine needles. And it's for day use only. It's not for overnight parking. Long-term parking is way down the road, another mile down the road. So we thought it was kind of odd. It was, kind of bold of this hiker to go out on a day hike or on an overnight backpack trip and then leave his car there for all this time. Well, there's more coming that goes along with that. potentially tragic circumstances behind that vehicle and the hiker-climber that belonged to that vehicle. And I'll talk about that a little more later on in the episode. But in the meantime, let's head up to the Inyo National Forest and go to the John Muir Wilderness and go to Big Pine Lakes Basin. You're really going to like this. A lot of wildlife, some gorgeous scenery. That'll all be coming up next in this edition of Backcountry Trails. Stick around. Well, we're coming up on a lunch not too far, maybe 20 miles from Lone Pine, and we hit this wall of smoke. This is all from the Garnet Fire on the other side by Kings Canyon. And on all trails, our area that we're going is saying that extremely poor air quality. So I just hope we don't have to hike in this. It looks like we might have to. It looks pretty bad right here. You can't even see Olancha from here. Well, we made the obligatory stop in Pearsonville, which is a small little, basically just a gas station. It's a Shell gas station, along with the subway of all things inside. And it's right where the Highway 14 from LA meets, from Santa Clarita, that area, meets the 395. It's the first time that they actually meet. So anyway, stopped here for a potty break, and Jerry and Dave are going to go get a Subway sandwich, and I actually made a sandwich. So anyway, from here it's about an hour to Lone Pine. We'll continue on up to Lone Pine, and we'll check out the views of Mount Whitney and stop by the Lone Pine Interagency Visitor Center in Lone Pine. Well, we're at the Interagency Visitor Center in Lone Pine, and I don't know if you can tell, but Mount Whitney is back there in the smoke. Well, I'm inside the Lone Pine Interagency Eastern Sierra Visitor Center, and we talked to the person at the desk, information person at the desk, to try to see if we could find an alternate hike location that wasn't as smoky. We were thinking maybe Mammoth or someplace even maybe north of Mammoth, and he said basically everything is smoked in completely past Mammoth, and it's actually worse in Mammoth and Bishop than it is here. So I was like, wow, that's pretty bad. So we have an option of sucking it up in Big Pine Lakes, or maybe heading south toward Kennedy Meadows. So there's an option. So, but I think today we're gonna go check into the campground. We'll see how it is. We'll see how it is in the morning, and then we'll make a decision. Maybe we'll spend Tuesday and Wednesday at Big Pine Lakes, and I don't know. Maybe do something else. I guess we'll figure it out here in a little bit. In the meantime, we're gonna go look for some souvenirs. All right, Sage Flat Campground. That was one of the campgrounds we had a choice of. But we're gonna continue on. We're gonna head all the way up toward Big Pine Creek Campground, and our interesting spot. Actually looks pretty scenic down there. Yeah. That campground doesn't look too bad.
Nope, pretty nice. Not too busy.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that was more sage, but it wasn't too bad. There's a little bit of a breeze here. It's still really smoky. Like Jerry said earlier, there's probably a tremendous view straight ahead that we can't see now because it's all in the smoke. But we should be arriving here fairly soon. Campground. Let's see what this says. Another campground. Upper Sage Flat. So this isn't it either. I don't know what these guys are doing. Palisade Glacier Group Campground. Clyde Glacier Group Campground. So we're getting there. Ours is pretty much at the end of the road.
There's our obscured view.
Okay, here's trailhead parking, overnight parking. So up here on this little hump to the right, that's where we got to park the car for our backpack trip.
Awesome. See if there's anybody there.
And the Big Pine Campground should be up here on the left, not too much further. Alright. Doesn't look any clearer, but it's a little better, I think. Alright, let's see what we got here. There's the pack train.
Okay.
So we're getting really close. A lot of people fish up here along the North Fork and the South Fork of Big Pine Creek. A lot of trout. In fact, the water was right there alongside the road. So we should be coming up on the campground momentarily, I believe. And even though it's still smoky and hazy and poor air quality, at least the pine trees give the illusion that it's not too bad. Okay, Big Pine Creek Big Pine Creek Campground. This is it right here. We're going to be going to site number 9. There's the end of the road right there. That's the day use parking lot. This must be the overflow parking down here, maybe. I'm not sure.
There's the creek.
That's the lodge over to the right. The new lodge. Okay. This is the actual entrance. No, that's site number 1, so we got to go to number 9. There's the fee sign. Someone's got a bus. It must be the camp host right there.
Yeah, it's got the firewood.
Yeah. Site number 2. I just had this horrible fear that someone's going to be camped out. We have one of the nicest sites in the whole campground, so I'm hoping nobody squatted in our spot. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's right in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
Right up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, up in front of us on the left is where we're going. There's 6. There's 8. And here is 9, our site. And it looks like there ain't no room for a second vehicle.
Reserved.
Alright, I'm going to park right here for now, just so we can go take a look at it.
Sure. Oh, okay.
All right, well, we are at the Big Pine Creek Campground, and Dave's preparing his fishing reel for tomorrow. Hopefully he can catch him a prize trout.
Supposed to be in your balls, but I didn't make it.
So this is our site. This is site number 9, and what's great about this site is it has a little trail to the tent pad over here. And I've got my 25-year-old Eureka Mountain Pass 2XT tent, 2-man tent. I'll be sleeping in that tonight. It's more of a base camp tent. It's almost 6 pounds. So, but this used to be the remains of the lodge, the old Glacier Lodge back in the day. And this site is extremely hard to come by. I had to put in for this 6 months ago. On the day it was available, we got it. So Jerry's got his satellite system set up so we have full Wi-Fi when we're here, because obviously there's no cell signal. But we have this gorgeous fireplace. It's the remains of the old lodge. So we're going to have a big rip-roaring campfire tonight. We're going to cook brats over the open campfire. And hopefully we won't get smoked out too bad from the fire that's on the other side of the Sierras. It's been blowing this way. So hopefully we'll be able to get our brats cooking, enjoy the campfire, and sleep good tonight. And we have all day tomorrow to decide what we're going to do. This is my new little camp tool, my little camp hatchet. It's got a pry bar. And I'm chopping wood up. We got a lot of wood. We got 3 bundles of firewood plus some extra firewood that was left here. So the problem is I have to split this up. Best way to do it is baton it. Some of this wood's really hard. The wood that we have down there is oak. Some of this has got knots in it as well. So it's not as easy as you might think. But it's one of the many camp chores you have to do if you want to eat over the campfire. Well, we've got the brats on the grate. I had one of those Insta-Start charcoal briquette bags, so that's what I used. Make it easy tonight. This way it'll be nice and hot when I throw the wood in there. Hopefully we'll get enough heat to cook the brats. This magnificent old fireplace. Didn't even have to use the fire starter. Alright, Jerry's tending the brats. Coals are finally white, so it's finally starting to cook them. They're starting to pop. Dave's got the buns.
Just like them. So
They're the master brat chefs. It's funny, as soon as we opened the...
well, shit. There's one down.
Don't put it sideways like that.
Oh, yeah. That
That's why
might.
it's gonna be more prone to go in.
Yeah.
Well, we got more
Yep,
bread than
there's more bread than
brats, so I think we're okay.
Okay. My bad on that
One
one.
to use and one to reuse.
Dave gets his open face.
Yeah.
Well, after we were done eating our brats, we cleaned up and tidied up around camp, and we decided to go take a little walk around the campground and check out the Glacier Lodge store. We were kind of bummed that it was closed, and don't know if it was closed just for the day or for the season. It might have actually been closed for the season, but they did have a trout pond, which was kind of cool. It was real small. It was probably meant for children, but there were some adults that were there, and they were actually catching some pretty decent sized trout. We were kind of surprised. There were some deer that came down out of the hillside, and they were feeding on some of the tree branches and leaves and enjoying the nice grass around the trout pond. They also had a barbecue setup, a pretty big barbecue setup. Probably in the summertime, I'm sure this thing is cooking and smelling up the whole campground with pulled pork and tri-tip. But when we were there, there was nobody there. So when we got back to camp, we kind of tidied up a little bit, put everything away in the bear locker, and got ready for some good viewing of the stars. Even though the smoke was there, believe it or not, it had kind of cleared up a little bit toward the evening, and it wasn't so bad. Start off with chorizo egg burrito this morning. So I got the chorizo cooking. This ought to be pretty good. And then we'll get the egg going here in a minute. I didn't bring any oil, so I'm hoping to use some of the grease from here to help with the eggs so they don't stick to the pan. We'll see what happens. Well, this is going to be our breakfast this morning. I've got chorizo sausage over there cooking in the carbon steel skillet. In the pan in the middle, which is an aluminum thing, I'm going to be heating the eggs up in that. Scrambled eggs. I'm going to do some tortillas. We also have some cheese. That'll be pretty good. All right, let's check on our breakfast this morning. Eggs are starting to cook. I've got 6 scrambled eggs. I've also got some chorizo sausage. It's nice and cooked. You can hear it sizzling away. And the red that you see in the eggs, that's just chorizo. It's the grease from the chorizo. That's what I'm using to cook it with. I didn't bring any butter or oil, and this pan is not the best for eggs, but it'll work. And we'll get this going. Got our tortillas here. Guerrero tortillas. That's going to be our breakfast this morning. I'll set those over here so they don't get too hot and melt. I've already had my coffee, and once the eggs get cooking, I'll throw some tortillas on the grill. We'll be good to go. Well, after breakfast, we took a drive back down to Big Pine and stopped at the Ancient Bristlecone, kind of an informational parking lot right off the side of Highway 395. Got some information on what the road was going to be like, how far we had to drive, what the altitude was, and what we would see up there. So then we continued on up the highway. It was a narrow road, and thankfully there was nobody on it. There were a few places that was basically single lane, and a couple of cars coming the other way had to pull over to make room for us. But as we winded our way up to the Ancient Bristlecone Forest, we went higher and higher until we eventually topped out over a timber line. You can see the trees were disappearing. We did make one quick little pit stop at a little scenic pullover spot, and I did a short little hike, maybe only a couple hundred yards, up to the top of this little knoll where I had this great view overlooking the Owens Valley to the south. We're at almost 10,000 feet here.
The White Mountains of Inyo County.
That's where I am right
West
now.
of today, sunny. Haze through the day. A 20% chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. Highs 59 to 69. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles
It's
per
Owen
hour.
Valley back there in the distance.
Tonight, mostly clear. Haze after midnight. Lows 40 to 50.
No, it's not too bad.
Southeast.
Well, as we're working our way up toward the Ancient Bristlecone Forest, I think we're nearing timberline because all of the trees stopped. Once we reached the visitor center, it was a brand new visitor center. It looked like it had just been built within the last year. Turns out it's actually been rebuilt. They had a massive fire up there that burnt the thing to the ground a few years back, and now they've since rebuilt it. And it was very nice. Awesome guy that was working the ranger station there, and some of the things that were available to us from the visitors center. We talked about one of the trails. There's 2 main trails. One's called the Discovery Trail. It's only about a mile. He did tell us about the Methuselah Trail, which was a 5-mile hiking trail. They went by the general area where the Methuselah tree is. Now that's the oldest living dated tree on Earth. And it's not marked because they don't want anybody damaging it or carving their name in it or going off trail to find it. So, but we had to watch a little informational video. It was about 30 minutes long. Took in the sights of some of the displays, and then we headed on out to the parking lot. And in the parking lot, there was another sign that was pretty funny. I guess there's several roads you can actually drive to get a scenic drive through parts of the Ancient Bristlecone Forest. And one of them was called the Patriarch Road, and there was a flat tire count on the sign. And I guess the trail isn't really that difficult, but it's the rocks are very pointed and sharp. And a lot of people that have driven that road have gotten flats, and a lot of people with rental cars and small sedans, it's not made for that. And if you have 4-wheel drive, you have a full-size spare and maybe a way to inflate your spare or repair your flat tire if you so get one. then you're more than welcome to take that road. But we decided that we were going to take the Discovery Trail, only about a mile. We were going to go up and around, maybe get some good up close looks at some of the ancient bristlecones, and do all this before the rain hit because the thunderstorm was coming, and we could see the clouds moving in. So we headed up into the ancient bristlecones and got in some great views of some of the trees up close. And because I'd never seen a pike up close, it was actually he was actually a pretty friendly little guy. Got some great pictures of him. So anyway, that's going to be in the next couple of minutes. Is our trip up into the Discovery Trail in the Shulman Grove of ancient bristlecones up here in the White Mountains. All right, well, we are at the Shulman Grove of ancient bristlecone pines. The date almost 10,000 years.
Yeah.
And we're going to go do a short little day hike. It's only a mile, but we're almost at 10,000 feet, so we feel it. Hopefully it won't rain on us, possibly even snow on us. I'm wearing shorts. Well, we're not too far from the Shulman Grove Visitor Center, the ancient bristlecone pine forest. And we're just going to take a short little cruise along the Discovery Trail. It's only a mile. Hopefully it'll point out some ancient bristlecones.
Something there about that, but service to get next to it. It has that twisted root, twisted pattern in it.
Oh, is it supposedly a bristlecone?
I think it is.
Huh.
Well, this looks like one of our ancient bristlecone pines. As we're getting up into the rain clouds, hopefully we won't hit any thunderstorms before we get back. This is a short but steep section of trail. Well, we're at about 10,000 feet here in the ancient Bristlecone Forest, and we just watched a video, a very nice interpretive video at their visitor center about how old these trees are. They're 4,000 to 7,000 years old. They've even found remnants of dead ones that are 10,000. That one right there, still alive up here at 10,000 feet, and it endures harsh weather up here, extreme high winds of up to 100 miles an hour and temperatures down well below zero. Up here there's not much soil for it to cling to, but boy, what a magnificent sight. Gives you a real appreciation for the bristlecone pines up here in the White Mountains, the High Sierras, just outside of Bishop. Well, it looks like this Discovery Trail does a loop around this spot here, works down by this really old tree, and works its way back down toward the visitor center. Got a magnificent ancient bristlecone over there. And they talked about in the visitor center, one way to identify the ancient bristlecones was by their foxtail-like needle cluster. We have a little pica in the rocks. Hey, little buddy. Well, we're working our way down from the Discovery Trail here at the Ancient Bristlecone Forest, and we were just treated to a nice little show by a little friendly pika. It's I think it looks like a mouse, like a hamster almost, but I think it's actually part of the rabbit family, if I'm not mistaken. And he was hopping back and forth in and out of the rocks, carrying this little fuzzy branch. I think he was trying to make a nest or a den for the winter that's approaching in a couple of months. So that was kind of funny. We watched him for a good 10 minutes. So anyway, we're not too far from the visitor center. We haven't had any rain or snow yet, but there is a chance this afternoon. What it does do is it makes for a great environment for a hike right now. It's nice and cool, nice cool breeze. It's sunny, and the fact that we're almost at 10,000 feet right here, it's very hard to breathe. This is all going to go a long way toward helping us tomorrow as we work our way up toward the Palisade Glacier, which will be on Friday. So we're almost back to the car. We're going to head down to Bishop, get something to eat, get some ice for the ice chest, and then head back up the canyon. Having a great time out here in the White Mountains and the High Sierras. Well, that's going to do it for this first part of our Big Pine Lakes adventure. On this episode, we took a drive up to Lone Pine and then continued on up through Independence to Big Pine. Got our base camp set up basically at the Big Pine Creek Campground. And then the next morning, we took a drive over to the Ancient Bristlecone Forest, checked out the Discovery Center, and took a hike along the Discovery Trail to see some of the ancient bristlecone pines that are up there about 10,000 feet in the White Mountains. In the next episode, we're going to wake up early, get a good start, get some coffee. We're going to start our backpack trip. This first day is going to be tough. It's going to be a long climb up the North Fork of Big Pine Creek, all the way up to lake number 2 of the chain of 7 lakes. That'll all be coming up next in this next edition of Backcountry Trails. Stick around.